What's up, everybody? I'm Stella Chung, and this is the Weekly Fix, the show where we round up all the gaming and entertainment headlines you may have missed this week. Xbox has announced that a new update for the Series X and S will boot the consoles up even faster, plus details on the GTA 6 Protagonist may have been leaked. In the entertainment world, The Rock was booed on stage during Comic-Con, and Netflix has doubled down on their stance regarding password sharing. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and let's jump right into it.
Grand Theft Auto 6 will reportedly feature a female playable character in its campaign for the first time since the original GTA stole our hearts in 1997. In another huge change for the series, Rockstar apparently plans to launch the game with a single city, but add more locations over time through updates. So it sounds like it'll be more of a live service game that maybe combines what GTA 5 and GTA Online were into just one experience. This all comes from a report by Bloomberg, whose sources say the new playable female character will be Latina. She will reportedly be half of a pair of bank robbers in a story influenced by real-life criminals Bonnie and Clyde. If these sources are to be believed, the launch version of GTA 6 will begin with fictionalized Miami, can I get a yeah for the return to Vice City, but will be updated with, quote, new missions and cities on a regular basis. That launch version apparently already includes more interior locations than any previous GTA. GTA 6 is currently planned for release sometime between the spring of 2023 and spring 2024, but Bloomberg's sources are skeptical it will make even that large release window due to multiple changes on the dev team and bottlenecks in production. The hotly anticipated sequel will also likely have a very different tone than previous GTAs. Rockstar is supposedly focusing on making fewer jokes that, quote, punch down at marginalized groups. Next year will mark 10 years since the original release of GTA 5, which is the second best-selling game of all time, behind only Minecraft. Very few entertainment products in history have enjoyed the financial success that GTA 5 has. That's why the question of whether or not GTA 6 can repeat that success will be one of the most fascinating gaming stories to follow over the next few years. GTA fans seem a little wary of these big changes, mostly with the new approach to humor and satire. Part of the series' entire appeal is that it never seemed to care who might be offended by its over-the-top send-up of American culture. If GTA 6 arrives and it feels like it's lost some teeth, like it's walking on eggshells, trying not to ruffle too many feathers, longtime fans might not find the GTA fix they've been waiting over 10 long years for. But as I said, this will be a big story that we'll be following for years to come.
We will watch your career with great interest.
In other news, development on the upcoming remake of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic has reportedly been paused indefinitely.
You were the chosen one!
According to Bloomberg, again, Texas-based studio Aspire's recent presentation of a KOTOR demo didn't land as well as it could have when it was shown to Lucasfilm and Sony. This has led to Aspire telling employees that the project will be put on pause and that it would look for, quote, new contracts and development opportunities. Additionally, Aspire fired the remake's art director, Brad Prince, and design director, Jason Miner. The latter reportedly said on social media channels that the dismissal was unexpected. Aspire has been working on the remake of the 2003 Star Wars RPG for the last 3 years before finally announcing the game last September at that really good PlayStation State of Play. Remember that?
They must be stopped.
Good times. However, after presenting a demo to its production partners Lucasfilm and Sony, employees then learned of the development pause and the 2 firings. Aspire's studio heads reportedly told staff that the vertical slice, quote, wasn't where they wanted it to be and that the project would be paused. Can you imagine working on something every day for 3 years? Something that millions of people around the world are excited about, and then one day you're just like, nah, that's on pause, let's look for something else to do. While Aspire's future involvement in the project remains unclear, Aspire's parent company, Embracer, announced back in May that Saber Interactive would assist on the project, and some Aspire employees believe Saber may take over the project completely. This sounds like a case of Aspire biting off more than it could chew. The studio is more of a publishing and porting house than a developer of AAA games. It made its name porting games from Windows to Mac OS way back in the day. It ported KOTOR and Jade Empire to mobile, and in 2015 it updated KOTOR 2 on Steam and ported it to iOS. But developing a huge game from the ground up, that's something Aspire doesn't seem to have a lot of experience with. Hopefully the KOTOR remake can one day escape development hell.
If you thought the Xbox Series X and S startup time of nearly 10 seconds was just too darn long, fear not, because Xbox is implementing an update that will make the consoles boot up even faster. Xbox's director of integrated marketing confirmed on Twitter that the new feature was being tested on Xbox Insider builds, and it cuts the Xbox's boot time in half. I don't know about you, but it was already pretty fast at about 9 seconds, so this will just be supersonic. This is currently just in a beta testing phase, but it'll be released fully soon. This will also only be available to those who set their consoles to energy saver mode, since the users on standby mode usually skip the startup screen altogether. With energy saver mode allowing you to download updates in that state, honestly, why not switch over to that mode since you'll get a fast 4-second boot time. If you're an Xbox insider, be sure to get on that beta. If you're a Halo fan, I'm afraid I have more bad news for you. Halo Infinite's co-op campaign update is rapidly approaching, but 343 Industries confirmed that the current beta phase and final version of co-op will not have online matchmaking. This means that you can only do campaign co-op with people you invite or people who invite you directly. This may not seem like a huge deal to those players who already plan to play with friends, but the game lacking online support for players who might just want to get into games and have fun with anyone else looking for a co-op partner is slightly disappointing. The co-op beta went live July 15th, and the final release date is supposed to arrive in August this year. Did you get to try out campaign co-op in the beta? Let us know how you liked it. Gamers, rejoice! Discord support is finally coming to the Xbox, and it's not just for the gaming overlay, but actual voice chat. The Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One will have Discord voice chat straight on the consoles, no longer requiring cross-platform friends to use other devices to make chat work. It's so beautiful. In a press release, Discord stated that its voice chat support would be gradually rolling out, but Xbox insiders can use the voice chat feature starting today. Discord voice chat on Xbox can be transferred from the Discord app, desktop or mobile, directly onto the consoles using the Xbox mobile app for seamless connection. Finally, I feel like we're finally properly in 2022 with this long overdue feature. In less happy news, Assassin's Creed players are coming together to bid farewell to multiplayer modes that are getting shut down. Earlier this month, Ubisoft had announced it was shutting down the multiplayer and online modes for 15 games, including 5 Assassin's Creed titles, which also included DLC for Assassin's Creed 3 and Brotherhood becoming unplayable. On the Assassin's Creed subreddit, user Farland's Design posted, "Assassin's Creed multiplayer for Brotherhood, Revelations, and 3 is getting shut down. Let's commemorate them with a well-deserved farewell." The plan is to play 3 games across 6 weekends to maximize the amount of players on at the same time, with Assassin's Creed Brotherhood sessions taking place this weekend, July 23rd to the 24th at 7 p.m. GMT on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3. Revelations will be celebrated August 5th through 6th and 12th through 13th at 7 p.m. GMT, and Assassin's Creed 3 will be played August 19th to 20th and 26th to the 27th at the same time previously. If you're a fan of these classic titles, be sure to get yourself involved with this last hurrah.
Naughty Dog has revealed a ton of new features for The Last of Us Part 1. If you're not keeping track, that's the fully overhauled PlayStation 5 remake of the original game, which clearly isn't short on extras. In a new video posted on the PlayStation blog, Last of Us director Neil Druckmann showed off a handful of new features. For hardcore players after the ultimate immersive experience, there's now a permadeath mode, and for people trying to get it over with as fast as possible, there's a speedrun mode that'll time your playthrough. For the collectible focus, there are new unlockable costumes for Joel and Ellie, and you'll be able to get a closer look at these thanks to an enhanced photo mode as well as a model viewer mode. That's definitely your best bet. All of this is icing on the cake, and it might be a recipe we're all familiar with, but I guess you could say Naughty Dog is baking with some fresher ingredients. On top of new modes, The Last of Us Part 1 is also boasting overhauled graphics, AI, and controls to make it the definitive version of the beloved game. The Last of Us Part 1 hits PlayStation 5 on September 2nd, and it'll be coming to PC, but there's no release date for that version just yet. Moving on, a Witcher designer recalls making a mistake in the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt key feature that now looking back, he admits might have driven players mad. During the developer's 20th anniversary stream, Witcher 4 campaign director Philip Weber recalled his time as the junior quest designer for Witcher 3, in which he mentions the various smuggled catches were meant to be introduced as points of interest on the map. Weber explained that they were meant to be a treat players would come across instead of a blaring question mark that needed to be ticked off for completionists, myself included. Weber confirmed the mistake by saying, "I can admit freely I'm one of those people that actually put those question marks in the world. It was already late 2014, so not that long before release in May 2015 was when we basically just filled the world with them. There was not a lot of time, so it was very much, okay, we just have to do it and we can't do it perfectly. However, I do have a defense. I did a lot of those terrible, I can say terrible because I did them, smugglers catches. I can personally attest that I practically had a panic attack at the sheer amount of question marks all over the map, but how did you feel about The Witcher 3's sheer amount of quests? Does Weber's apology smooth things over for you? Let me know in the comments.
Right now, we finally got a look at the PSVR 2's interface thanks to these first images from Sony. Now we're given a clear look at what the see-through system and play area customization looks like, giving off Oculus Meta Quest vibes, allowing you to view your real-life surroundings in a grayish black and white tone. Now it's a great feature that gives you the ability to see and navigate your play space without taking off the headset. Now you can activate the see-through view by way of a physical function button on the hardware or through the UI's control center. Now the control center is also where you'll be able to draw out and edit your customized play space on the floor using the handheld controllers. Again, also very similar to the Meta Quest. Now a cinematic mode has been confirmed for those times you want to watch and enjoy non-VR content while in VR, which will take place on a virtual cinematic screen. Now, given this is VR, you'll be able to replicate a more cinematic theater experience for those, who may not own a massively sized 4K television like me. Yeah, it's a quick flex, I know. Anyways, lastly, the PSVR 2 will feature a broadcast mode that, coupled with a PS5 HD camera, can stream video of both your in-game headset and what you're doing in real life. I'm sure there's a way to do that with OBS and the streaming camera you already own, but that remains to be seen until the PSVR 2's release, which is still TBD. Now in other gaming news, this YouTuber managed to stray off the beaten path and beat the game Stray with 0% damage. Now, a YouTuber by the name of Hayate Bahadori has made it his life's mission to take on video games with the sole purpose of completing them without receiving any damage, and he managed to do so with everyone's favorite cute little feline friend in Annapurna's Stray. Now, according to Kotaku, Bahadori practiced for about 20 hours attempting to pull off the no damage feat on PC, with the first Zerk run being the most challenging. Shout out to you for the time and commitment you put into Stray. Perfectly executed. Ha.
It looks like Square Enix is hopping on the NFT bandwagon with its latest action figure of Final Fantasy VII's iconic soldier, Cloud Strife. Square Enix announced that the upcoming Cloud figurine will include a digital NFT version as part of the purchase backed by blockchain's digital certificate of authenticity. The description of the item reads, both digital certificate of authenticity and digital version of the figure are managed by blockchain technology known as NFTs. Digital certificate of authenticity provides proof of authenticity for your original purchase of the figure. The digital version of the figure can be enjoyed via a smartphone or PC through a dedicated website. The figure will cost you $159.99 and can be pre-ordered right now. It will be released in November 2023. It's worth pointing out that pretty much every video game company that has announced plans to make NFTs has been met with tons of negativity and disgust from gamers everywhere, so I'm guessing this won't exactly go smoothly for them either. Moving on, if you're hoping to get your hands on more TMNT beat-em-up action after last month's release of Shredder's Revenge, you are in luck, as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Cowabunga Collection release date has finally been revealed. Announced today during Comic-Con 2022, the Cowabunga Collection will bring 13 games from the franchise's 8 and 16-bit days, including beloved staples like SNES Turtles in Time. The collection will also include a trove of original design documents from the iconic series. It supports local and online co-op for TMNT 2, the arcade game, the Manhattan Project, and Turtles in Time. Hyperstone Heist will also feature a local multiplayer mode. Most of the games included in the list are near impossible to obtain on modern consoles, but luckily the entire collection is coming on August 30th for PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Nintendo Switch.
It's time to take a quick break, but when we come back, we take a look at the newly announced Season 6 of Rick and Morty, and hear a little bit more about why The Rock was booed at Comic-Con. See you in a bit. Welcome back. add 5 more countries to the no password sharing list as Netflix continues to crack down on their public enemy #1. But before that, The Rock was recently on stage at Comic-Con and teased that Henry Cavill may soon be recast as Superman. Let's check out some more details.
Right now, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson seemingly confirmed that Henry Cavill won't be returning to the DCEU at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. Now, this comes from his response to the question of whether Black Adam could defeat Superman. Now, he said, quote, "Pound for pound, they're pretty close. I guess it probably all depends on who is playing Superman. I'm just going to say that. I'll leave it at that." Now, the crowd in attendance then booed the People's Champ as The Rock's response seemed to suggest that Henry Cavill might not be the Man of Steel WB is considering for the role, possibly having another actor step into the red and blue suit to face Black Adam. Now, if we were to think within the confines of the comics and simply base it on what we know about the 2 DC characters, well, Black Adam might be able to hold his own against Superman. Now, the Kryptonians' 2 weaknesses are, in fact, kryptonite and magic. Now, with Black Adam's powers being steeped in magic, there's a strong chance he'll be able to give whomever that Man of Steel is a run for his money. Now, the comments made by Johnson at Comic-Con hint at us likely seeing a return of Superman in the DCEU sooner rather than later, even if WB decides to cast a different actor in the role. Hopefully, there's interest on both sides for Cavill to return, and they're able to work out an agreement. Now, in other news, Ryan Gosling reportedly wants to hop into the MCU as Ghost Rider, and Kevin Feige is on board with bringing him into the MCU at least. Now, earlier in June, MTV News' Josh Horowitz tweeted that Gosling denied he'd be playing Nova in an upcoming Marvel project, but was all in on playing Ghost Rider. Then, when Kevin Feige was asked by the same outlet at SDCC 2022 if there's a place for Gosling as Ghost Rider, Feige said, quote, "Ryan's amazing. I'd love to find a place for him in the MCU." Now, while it's not much, maybe there'll be more conversations behind closed doors on what role Ryan Gosling can play in the MCU. And finally, we get our first look at Riri Williams' Mark I Ironheart suit by way of this Funko Pop vinyl figure. Now, this comes off the heels of the Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer, where we see the character building her very first super suit. Now, we can see that the suit will have boosters and a repulsor cannon. While it looks like a less than refined prototype, it has the makings of something quite spectacular. Now, we'll see Ironheart this November in Wakanda Forever before she takes off in her very own series, Ironheart, on Disney Plus in fall of 2023.
Netflix is currently asking customers in 5 more countries to pay up if they share their login information with people outside of their household. First reported by Bloomberg, customers in Argentina, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and my home country, Dominican Republic, are being asked to pay a fee for regularly using their account outside of their home. However, this will not affect the use of Netflix on mobile devices. The price of adding a home to your account varies, but is no more than $3 in any of the affected countries. Netflix says more than 100 million households are using shared accounts, and that password sharing is particularly high in Latin America. Guilty as charged. The streaming giant has been trying to limit password sharing for a while. In March, it announced plans to test a similar system in Chile, Costa Rica, and Peru, where users would have to pay for viewers that don't live in the same household. Last year, Netflix introduced a verification system in some countries that came with a warning that read, "If you don't live with the owner of this account, you need your own account to keep watching." It's a turbulent time for Netflix. The service is losing subscribers, leading to shares plummeting to their lowest point since 2018. Following this, Netflix laid off several hundred employees, and it's implemented its 6th price hike since 2014 earlier this year. Moving on, Pixar's Lightyear landed in theaters just over a month ago on June 17th, and it's already en route to Disney+. The sorta Toy Story prequel arrives on the streaming platform Wednesday, August 3rd. In our review, IGN gave Lightyear a 7 out of 10, saying it doesn't live up to Pixar's usual standards, but it's still a fun watch. So if you're curious but didn't make it to a theater to see it, you'll be able to see Chris Evans' take on Buzz Lightyear from the comfort of your couch in just a couple weeks.
All right, now we are clearly live here at Comic-Con, which means some of the biggest names are here to talk shop on what's up. And William Shatner sat down with Kevin Smith in an hour-long convo discussing his life and where he is currently in the entertainment industry. Now, Shatner also didn't hold back on his thoughts on Star Wars. Now, according to The Hollywood Reporter, when Shatner was asked about the Disney-owned sci-fi series, he said, quote, Star Wars, but not Mark Hamill. Yeah, please bleep that out, please. Now, glad to see he has respect for the man. We all do, honestly. Now, we here at IGN sat down with William Shatner as well to talk shop with him in a very engaging, warp speed engaging one-on-one with our very own Scott Calora. So be sure to watch the breakout if you missed the live coverage for today. Now, in other news, we're getting a Smiling Friends special ahead of season 2. I'm excited for that. Now, according to the Rotten Tomato, Smiling Friends Go to Brazil. We'll see Pim, Charlie, and company doing just that. Going to Brazil. Now, the team will be experiencing a vacation of sorts, but knowing how random creators Michael Cusack and Zach Haddle can be, we can expect something crazy to go down. And speaking of crazy, I got to sit down with Michael, Justin Roiland, and the writers for the upcoming animated series Koala Man. And it kind of went off the rails, but in a good way, I promise you. Now, definitely check out the breakout if you missed the live stream, and you can catch the Smiling Friends special on HBO Max August 7th. All right, now we know when to expect Rick and Morty Season 6 on Adult Swim, which will be September 4th, but when will the upcoming season take place in the overall timeline of the series? Now, last we saw Rick and Morty, the Season 5 finale, Rick, Morai, Jack, we got a glimpse of Rick C-137's backstory, the Citadel of Ricks is destroyed, and the return of Evil Morty, where he breaks free from the central finite curve created by Rick. Now, this will have lasting repercussions on Rick and Morty canon, as this wasn't just a one-off story. Now, according to the Season 6 logline, quote, it's Season 6 and Rick and Morty are back. Pick up where we left them. Worse for wear and down on their luck. Will they manage to bounce back for more adventures? Well, that obviously doesn't tell us much, but it does confirm that Season 6 will pick up where we last saw Rick and Morty in the Season 5 finale. And it's likely we'll see some of the effects of Evil Morty as he traverses beyond the central finite curve. And we'll find out on September 4th when Rick and Morty Season 6 premieres. I'm kind of curious to know what you think we'll see in Season 6 of Rick and Morty. Sound off down below. Now, in other news, the Weird Al biopic has found a release date. Now, the Daniel Radcliffe starring flick based on the Grammy-winning parody musician entitled Weird the Al Yankovic Story is set to release November 4th on the Roku channel. Now, it'll be interesting to watch as Weird Al's career has publicly appeared to be quite wholesome and seemingly devoid of any drama. Now, we'll find out if that's true come November 4th. And finally, check out these Black Panther Wakanda Forever action figures, which give us a closer look at Namor and Attuma. Now, courtesy of Hasbro, we're able to see more details of the reimagined take on the two Atlanteans in the MCU, with Attuma's weapons being fashioned out of the bones of sharks. Now, we'll see how that'll stack up against the high-tech weaponry found in Wakanda.
Post Malone has been getting more into gaming on Twitch, and he recently just held a massive Apex Legends charity tournament last Sunday on the 24th. The charity raised money for the Trevor Project, the world's largest suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for LGBTQ+ youth. Post-tournament included streamers and pro Apex players like TSM Imperial Hal, Snipedown, who recently moved off the TSM Apex roster for FaZe's Halo roster, ACU, Nicewig, and recently crowned ALGS MVP, His Watson from Furia. The near 6-hour tournament raised $76,000 for the Trevor Project. Respawn Entertainment, the developers behind Apex Legends, also donated $10,000 toward the cause as well. This was a series of 4 charity live streams Post Malone put on this month and ended up raising over $196,000 for Human Rights Watch, Project Hope, United Way, and now the Trevor Project. Congratulations to Post for such an incredible series of streams supporting amazing causes. Moving over to a different FPS game, Call of Duty League saw some miscommunicated drama within its talent this weekend. Longtime CDL host Veli resigned, much to the shock of the community. There was no real explanation given for his resignation, though Veli did say there was no issue with him and the CDL. However, Dexerto's sources claimed Veli was involved in an altercation with other members of the broadcast team after the Stage 4 Major. The team was intoxicated during the post-tournament celebration, and it was stated that the pro players and cast team members had to break up the altercation. After
after the Dexerto article came out, an account from Optic Crimzia came out on a Reddit post explaining that it was an argument between friends that went south. The statement corrected the claim that Veli had been the instigator and that it was not as bad as it sounded. Crimzia noted that another caster was more aggressive and agitated, and Veli had shoved that caster back, and no instance of an actual fight was seen. After the situation was diffused, the party members all retired to their hotel rooms. I'm honestly super thankful Veli has friends, crewmates, and professionals who were able to correct the statement and properly tell the story on what happened. Best of luck to you, Veli, and the future of your hosting and casting career. Speaking of esports futures, Valorant had its first event in front of a live audience with VCT Masters Copenhagen. As incredible as it was to see a Valorant event with an in-person arena, the online broadcast was less than stellar for the actual event. The broadcast only peaked at 786,185 viewers for the grand final that had a showdown between Fun Plus Phoenix and Paper Rex. That peak viewership is the worst in the history of international Valorant tournaments yet. Comparing this to the 2021 VCT Champions and even the Stages tournaments, the peak viewership was at 1 million consistently. While this could just be a fluke, hopefully Valorant's in-person events grow since Valorant esports is a growing scene and I want to see it continue to grow and prosper. I'm Stella Chung and that was your weekly fix. We'll be back here next Saturday with more of the biggest gaming and entertainment news of the week. See you then.